Welcome, I'm Mick, an ordinary lad, and this is Sovereign Warriors.
Apples, yeah, help yourself, mate. You've got a basket, a bowl of apples, whatever. Next time I see you, you're selling them at £1 an apple. I go, all right, Mick, you all right, mate?
Yeah.
Well, let's have an apple, and you go, yeah, for a pound.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
Yeah,
crazy.
it's the same thing, isn't it?
Exactly the same
Yeah,
thing.
it's a good analysis.
Exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
People paying road, I know it's off topic, but people are paying road tax with the money that we paid for the roads. Without those roads, they wouldn't have been made without our money.
Yeah, but the
So how
roads
do you
belong
tax-
to the post offices anyway.
Well, exactly, but,
Yeah.
but all I'm saying is we
Yeah, I
paid
know,
for
they
them
double
roads.
dip you all the time. It's
We
like
pay
a
for the
council
roads.
tax. You get every April you'll get a list saying, this is for that, this is for that, this is for the police, this is for the ambulance. Well, you've already paid all that anyway
Yeah.
with your taxes. I know
Exactly.
where you're coming from, yeah.
Now they use that, we have the powers to charge under the Water Industry Act 1991. So if we're going to talk about legislation, let's talk about the Offences to Persons Act. As
Right.
it states in there, I think it's section 23 and 24, something like if anybody is administering
Yeah.
poisons to persons.
Against people's, without you knowing sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're liable up to 10 years in prison.
And rightly so.
Yeah.
And rightly so, because it doesn't matter what the poison is, it's poison. If you're
Yeah.
administrating it, it's like someone has a nut allergy. They've only got to eat a bit of a nut and they die.
Exactly.
So you don't know what you're putting in that water. That can have a real bad effect on
Effect on
someone.
you.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
right.
So,
Yeah.
you know, for people watching this, have a look. Offences to Persons Act, I think it's 1861, section 23, 24. Use that against these waterboard, what they're doing, what they're putting in your water.
So, if you don't mind me asking, so what advice would you give to the layman out there on how to take the waterboard on and basically stop paying them, because they shouldn't be paying them?
No, nobody should be paying for
To be poisoned.
Poisoned.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I give this information out all the time to people, and I'll talk about it all the time. And some people just, you know, they'll just go home, crack on, and keep drinking the tap water. So it's down to people if they want to take it on board what's being said. So do you want your family and yourself and your friends to drink poisonous water? Because I certainly don't, and that's why I share the information with people.
Yeah.
Now I run a workshop on a Tuesday night in Coventry, and it's at the Royal Pub on Old Church Road, and it's the Sovereign Project. So for those that are listening for this maybe for the first time, have a look at online, the sovereignproject.live. And find out where your local workshop is, and you'll find out all sorts of things, not just about water, how not to pay PCNs, speeding fines, a whole array of information. Okay, certainly about your rights, which unfortunately a lot of people don't know about their rights.
Yeah. Well, you've got no rights if you don't know your
Exactly,
rights.
and you've got every right, and it's a human right, every right not to pay for your water when you know it's being administered with poisons.
Yeah.
Okay, so do your own research, contact your local water board, and ask them the questions which we've been talking about. Ask them to detail all the chemicals that are being put in the water. Okay, now when they write back to you and you don't get an answer, straight away you're going to know that there's something not right. Straight away you're going to know there's something not right, because they're not giving you full disclosure. As I mentioned before, any product where you walk into a shop and you buy something, they have to disclose the product. They have to disclose all the ingredients. That's
Yeah.
what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
All the ingredients, what's in that product. They have to do it. Okay, that's under the food industry.
Yeah. You need to know what you're consuming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you got to understand that the water boards, okay, they don't have any authority over you, and you don't have any obligation to pay. Okay, what you would rely on in that statement, one, who they're regulated by, off what says in their statement, their customer relations statement, PR19, customer is willing to pay. Well, of course you're not willing to pay if they're poisoning you. So you'd rely on that, okay? Now PR19 stands for price ratings 2019. That's going to change. Price ratings 2024 at the end of this year.
Right.
That will change. Okay, hopefully that statement is still in there, principle 1. Okay.
Yeah.
And think about what else you rely on. Offences to Persons Act, 1861, section 23, section 24. Okay,
Yeah.
states it in there.
Yeah.
Okay,
So they're breaking that straight away.
so that's legislation that you're
So
relying
they're
upon.
not above that, then, are they?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's what you need to be pointing out
Yeah.
when you're writing your letter saying you're not prepared to release any money till you can answer these
Exactly.
questions. Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
also look into the Fraud Act 2006 and relate that to this so-called service agreement. There is no contract. You haven't signed anything.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no signature. There's no contract there. Even though they'll admit in the end that they don't have a contract because they believe they don't have a they don't need one.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can believe what you want.
Exactly. If they're
Yeah.
if there's no contract, there's no claim. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Now they'll say, as we are water undertakers, and that name undertaker is a bit of a
Yeah.
funny word. Undertaker, getting you in the grave early,
Yeah.
through the water.
Yeah.
But yeah, as water undertakers, yes, they have statute law, the Water Industry Act 1991, but that doesn't supersede what Ofwat are telling them,
Yeah.
and that doesn't supersede the Offences to Persons Act.
Yeah.
Okay, but also they don't own the water. They don't own it. So if they don't own it, they can't charge for it. I mean, they can charge for it if they want, but you're not obliged to pay for it
You're
because
not
they do not
obligated.
own it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So another bit of legislation to rely upon. If you have a look into Trusts of Land and Appointment of Trustees Act 1996, that's another piece of legislation that you'd use in your favour. Now, if they did own the water, they would have they'd have a deed, okay, and they don't have any deed of ownership, okay. So that's all you got to tell them. I'm happy to pay.
Can you, once you produce the
If
deed,
you produce
a copy of
your,
the deed, please.
your deed of ownership,
Yeah.
okay, which relates to Trusts of Land and Appointment of Trustees Act 1996, okay. And I'll just elaborate a little bit what I mentioned earlier about the electrolyser. Get yourself one of them off eBay, whatever, costs about £8-9, okay, and do the testing yourself. Don't believe me, and you'll see tap water is full of horrible contaminants,
Yeah.
okay, that you're drinking. You just can't see it
Yeah.
until you use your tester, and then test it on distilled water. So buy yourself a distiller. You get them for about 60-70 quid, or if you want to really splash out, you get some really decent ones for about 300. And then test your distiller water, and you'll see the difference. You'll see the distilled water is fit for human consumption,
Yeah.
and the tap water is horrendous.
You just have to add a few things to it because the electrolytes are all dead in the water from
No,
the distilled.
the actual machine that you use
Oh, yeah,
will
yeah,
separate
yeah.
everything in the water.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm on about for drinking it.
Yeah, all right, yeah. And also test your bottled water, because you might think, oh, well, I'm going to convert to bottled water, just drink bottled water. The bottled water, okay, some of those bottled water are horrendous.
Yeah.
Smart water, nothing smart about it.
Yeah.
When you test that, that will just be black, which is all the heavy metals that's in that product,
Yeah.
okay. The only water I would recommend to drink, bottled water wise, and I have tested them all, would probably be Evian. So get your electrolyser, get out there, get testing. But one thing for sure, okay, stop paying these corporate criminals that are poisoning society with their water. And that's probably all I've got to say.
All right. Thank you very much. Great
problem.
interview. Appreciate that.
No worries.
So hopefully you lot out there will start a bit of non-compliance by not paying them, because you're basically paying for your own demise.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. But I really enjoyed that interview and I hope everybody else did. Thanks a lot.